Welcome to our webinar, Mastering Year-End Planning with OnePlan, Setting Your Projects Up for Success. If you enjoy this topic, please explore our YouTube channel for more videos and follow us on LinkedIn to be in the know for event announcements and speaking engagements.
And welcome everyone. I hope you all had a great summer and were able to enjoy the warm weather with family and friends. Most of you are now back to the office and faced with not only executing and finishing projects for 2024, but also planning ahead for strategies, initiatives, and projects for the year ahead. Let's review today's agenda. First, we'll talk about the importance of year-end project planning. Next, we'll review common challenges individuals and organizations face during their planning efforts. We'll talk about the role of strategic portfolio management for aligning strategy with execution. And then we'll cover a four-step approach to fiscal year-end planning with a live demonstration. Please be sure to stay until the end, as we'll have a special offer for all webinar participants. Let's start with the importance of year-end project planning. IT leaders, business leaders are always balancing a flux of current threats and future opportunities against significant risks of disruption and need a well-executed plan for addressing those in the year ahead. Responding to these threats and opportunities requires a portfolio of projects and programs to execute on those goals and objectives effectively. It also requires orchestration and governance at scale. This ensures alignment across portfolios, programs, and projects throughout the organization. The strategic business functions, such as the execution of large enterprise-wide initiatives and effective portfolio prioritization, really depend on proper planning. And with proper planning, a core focus on achieving key business objectives and outcomes, considering the factors of financial and resource constraints, organizations can significantly improve the enterprise's ability to execute strategy. What are some of the common business challenges in portfolio planning? And these are not unique necessarily to year-end planning, but can be applicable throughout the year. First off, many times there's poor alignment and collaboration between functional areas. One of the challenges that many organizations face is having similar projects, similar initiatives, similar technologies across different business units, departments, or divisions, and trying to align those so that the organization is not duplicating efforts. Many organizations struggle with a manual mashup of data from different tools and different data sources. With the proliferation of work management and portfolio management tools, most enterprise organizations and even small to mid-sized organizations can struggle with having data across different work management tools and not getting visibility across all of those various tools. Manual report creation, including formatting and updating, is a big pain for a lot of individuals, certainly, and organizations who are dealing with spreadsheet overload. Whether it's Microsoft Excel or Smartsheet or any other type of spreadsheet program, many entities have, in lieu of having something more modern and more integrated, have created very elaborate spreadsheets. And when they deal with executives looking for what-if scenario planning, constantly have to go back and recalculate and aggregate data. We talked a little bit about the duplication of efforts and data entry, which is really time-consuming, wasteful, and prone to errors. So again, part of the challenge of having multiple tools and multiple data sources. The inability to track progress. As I mentioned, we talked about many organizations using spreadsheets. They don't make it easy to aggregate. And then they really limit the real-time ability to manage attainment. Very much it's a point-in-time snapshot of where the organization has been and the ability to pivot, the ability to look at what are some of the new opportunities or threats that we talked about and how we can better align going forward. Certainly the challenge of people not being connected to strategy is paramount. People tend to really like general order and routine, and very much can fall into day-to-day operational tactical focus, where their efforts can focus on immediate results more so than aligning with those corporate objectives and strategies. The ability for comprehensive resource planning, again, talking about silos like you're looking at this image here, very much can be done. Multiple planning tools, whether they're Microsoft Project or others, have their own resource plans and don't have that single source of the truth as it pertains to not only assignments, but also capacity of individuals. And we're going to talk more about that today. There's also no measurements on leading indicators, really focusing on you manage what you measure. And without measurement, how do you manage people and issues that can derail a strategic goal? Many organizations set their strategy annually or revisit that quarterly, don't have a good handle on how they're doing in real time against those strategies, goals, and objectives. And finally, most organizations do struggle with strategy execution. Numerous studies from consulting firms like McKinsey, Bain, Boston Consulting Group, even the Harvard Business Review have shown that nearly 70% of strategies fail due to poor execution, and organizations only realize about 60% of their strategic value. In simple terms, strategic planning sets the focus and direction for an organization. Project management is all about execution and management of that strategy. And portfolio management is the glue or the bridge between strategy and execution. Industry analyst Gartner provides insight into the need for strategy execution, talking about shared objectives of business strategists and then being able to execute on that change, measuring true business value. Any organization involved with business transformation, digital transformation, however they're looking at core initiatives for the organization, should really invest in strategy execution management in order to succeed. And that includes a set of processes, which involve people, strategy, of course, and operations, and also a system of strategy development and planning, organizational alignment, operational plans, monitoring and learning, testing and adapting, forms the basis for an increase in value by executing against that strategy. So let's talk about strategic portfolio management. Gartner further defines strategic portfolio management as a set of capabilities, processes, and supporting portfolio management technology. Leadership, as we've talked about, really requires strategic portfolio management to support enterprise-wide strategy to execution, alignment, and adaptation. Definition of key business strategies and desired business outcomes and mapping those key portfolio elements, which are more than just projects. They can include business capabilities, investment areas, programs, digital and physical products, applications, and of course, projects. Being able to capture, define, and prioritize those business strategies, managing the execution of the initiatives and the projects that drive achievement of those strategies, and ultimately providing full visibility and management of core functional assets. These really support three key stakeholders from leadership who set direction, IT and functional management who own the critical assets and infrastructure, and execution teams, those that plan and deliver projects in the pursuit of reaching the business goals. What is the importance of strategic portfolio management in today's business environment? First off, there's increasing complexity in business environments, whether it's new opportunities, digital disruption, competitive landscape, compliance requirements, dealing with one or more government organizations. There's increasing complexity, and that breeds difficulty in alignment. But we're going to talk today about the greater need for financial and resource optimization. organizations, large or small, have limited resources, whether it's human or financial. You're going to see how OnePlan can help organizations to identify and prioritize the most critical projects and investments and allocate resources more effectively to maximize their return on investment. More of a demand for data-driven decision-making. With more and more tools, there's a growing demand for data and analysis, analytics. Data science is a growing area, and you'll see today how OnePlan can leverage those to provide insights into portfolio performance, allowing organizations to make more well-informed decisions that align with their goals. Adoption of different methodologies. Most organizations today are not pure waterfall, they're not pure agile. Many of them are a hybrid, a combination of those, or other methodologies. And there's a need for visibility and alignment across many different teams, whether they're doing Agile, Scrum, if they're managing traditional projects, IT projects, business projects, multiple departments, and really making sure that there's good synergies and alignment across the full spectrum of methodologies. Finally, there's emerging technologies and business models. Certainly wouldn't be a modern presentation and discussion without discussing the impact of artificial intelligence. AI is really becoming permeating throughout all areas of business involvement. And depending upon where you may sit with respect to the hype cycle, there is the need to consider AI, where it fits into your organizational strategy, where it fits into your application strategy and technologies, and then being able to take advantage of these new opportunities and evaluate and prioritize them in a centralized manner. Which brings us to OnePlan for strategic portfolio management. First, business leaders can set objectives and key results, or OKRs, and value streams, which we're going to show shortly in a demonstration. Next, execution leaders such as PMOs, project managers, Scrum Masters can execute against those key results and objectives, whether it's Agile or Waterfall or hybrid, or if they're doing professional services work or managing products. And then that brings us to functional leaders who really focus on things such as enterprise architecture, application portfolio management, and product portfolio management. Now that we understand the importance of year-end planning and the value that strategic portfolio management can provide, let's talk about putting those elements into action with a 4-step approach to year-end planning. First, it's all about setting your objectives and metrics. These are specific objectives and key results that an organization can aim to achieve, generally within a given time frame. Next, collect and project ideas and requests. These could be great ideas for business improvement, cost savings, new revenue opportunities, employee satisfaction, customer satisfaction initiatives, whatever they may be. They can come from anywhere in your organization. And being able to pull all those in through a unified, what we call intake process, or you could think of it as a demand management effort, to really identify what are the potential projects, potential ideas, new ways of working that can allow us to meet those goals and objectives. Step 3 is about capacity planning and budgeting. And so many organizations struggle with doing top-down capacity planning, top-down financial budgeting, maybe before they have a detailed work plan. Many times organizations want to look at opportunities if they're working with customers. Maybe they want to look at new project ideas and evaluate, do we have the capacity, do we have the resources, or do we have the budget to be able to do this work? Finally, step 4 is about portfolio modeling and optimization, really bringing it all together to find the right mix of projects that enable you to achieve your organization's objectives in the year ahead or months ahead, whatever your time scale might be. Let's start with step 1, setting your objectives and metrics. Here we are inside OnePlan. I'm signed in through Microsoft 365 with single sign-on, and I'm in here as a fictitious demo persona named Toby Stevens. OnePlan has a number of different capabilities that are exposed through the left side navigation. These are the many different areas within the OnePlan product. For today, we're going to focus on the areas that are relevant to year-end planning. If you're interested in some of these other areas and what they can bring to the table, we invite you to explore our other webinars and presentations. Let's start with setting up your objectives and metrics. Here we have a list of objectives as an organization. And maybe you have a list of pillars. These could be your organizational goals or strategies that come down from leadership. Leadership anytime will do annual strategic planning to go to an offsite or something like that. And they'll define for you what these objectives are. But if you need some ideas for these objectives, maybe you're in the ideation process of objectives, I want to call to your attention this bottom right-hand corner. This blue circle here is Sophia GPT. It's the AI chatbot that's integrated throughout the OnePlan product. And it can simply open up Sophia GPT wherever I am in the application. And I can use Sophia to analyze information and also to create opportunities, create ideas, create objectives. So we're going to pretend that we're a software development company, and I'm going to ask Sophia to create a list of 2025 strategic objectives for a software development company. Sophia GPT is based on Microsoft Azure OpenAI, which is done securely in the Microsoft Cloud. It is not trained on your data. It does provide insights into your OnePlan application data for your use only. And so here in a second, we're going to see Sophia come back to us with some ideas of strategic objectives for a software development company. And you'll start to see here information such as objectives, budget, prioritization, end dates, metrics, really great ways to ideate. Let's go ahead and find an existing objective. I'm going to go ahead and click on this Improve IT Infrastructure objective. We'll go ahead and close Sophia here for a moment. Within OnePlan, we have a number of different pages, and depending upon where you're at in the product, certain pages will be displayed. This is what we call our details page. This is where we can see all of the metadata about this business objective, improve IT infrastructure. Here you'll see some key information such as business unit, or what status is it, or the state, who's the lead for this. We can capture a description for our objective, so we can be able to communicate and maintain and manage all of the information pertaining to our various objectives. We can see some estimated start and end date. So if you're doing this on an annual basis, or this could be multi-year planning, high-level financials, whether that's a budget or expected benefits or an ROI. You can go through a prioritization scheme. We're not going to spend time on that here today, but you can prioritize your objectives and then have those be weighted going forward. Finally, what you're going to see here is a list of key results. These are associated key results. Now, maybe I want to think about some other potential key results for this IT infrastructure improvement objective. So let's go back to Sophia, and I'm going to ask her to create a list of key results for this objective. Again, Sophia is not trained on your information. It's not sharing that externally, but rather here it's providing now back some key results. These could be ways to define metrics for success if you're creating a new initiative, a new strategy or objective. We don't have the ability in the current release to copy and create plans, but that is in the roadmap for OnePlan, as we're really trying to make Sophia even more helpful in terms of being efficient and saving time and energy. As you can see, the strategy area in OnePlan is simple but powerful. We have the ability to look at different steps in the process. We have reports, the ability to visualize. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. We certainly have a dashboard here. All of the reporting in OnePlan is delivered through Microsoft Power BI, which is Microsoft's solution for reports and dashboards. And here is just a sample report or a sample dashboard. We can see where the progress is for this particular objective. What is the status information? And what's great about OnePlan reporting is that executives, many of which don't want or need to be inside the portfolio management tool, can access all of these directly through OnePlan, or they can go directly through Power BI and they won't need a OnePlan subscription. If we're inside OnePlan, we can see that list of all those objectives. We can expand our view. We can see all of those key results. And I neglected to mention that this interface is very configurable. In fact, all of the interfaces, all the different areas within OnePlan can be configured. We emphasize configuration, which is turning things on and off with settings, versus customization. So here I can look at different columns. I can drag and drop and move these around if I want. I could layer in a Gantt chart if I'm looking at schedule information or timeline information. I can see some information here around priority. I have a number of columns that I can select. I can choose from these and add these to my view. And then when I'm ready, I can easily save these as a particular view for myself that I can come back to. Now that we've set our objectives and metrics, step 2 is about collecting project ideas and requests. This is a focused list of initiatives, projects, and programs that the organization might invest in order to execute the business strategy and meet objectives and key results. Let's see that in action. Now we're going to go to the ideas area, or what we call the innovation portal inside of OnePlan. Here you'll see a list of ideas that have been submitted. Now with the innovation portal, you can open up just this area here. So when I show you this, just this area here, the My Ideas can be exposed to anyone in your organization. They don't need a OnePlan user subscription. We instead have a flat fee for our innovation portal subscription that can open up to anyone. And they can simply come in here and create a new idea. They can enter in information in a form, and we're going to take you through that process. So let's go ahead and hit the new idea button. We're going to go ahead and enter in a OnePlan fiscal year planning kickstart. And this is a little preview of what we may have later in the presentation for a year-end offer for our webinar attendees. And let's go ahead and add that plan. It's going to go ahead and create that plan for me and immediately open up a configurable form. The form allows me to put information in here in terms of who the requester might be. Maybe the requester in this case is myself. So I'll be Toby Stevens. Maybe we have an executive sponsor. This could be someone else in the organization. Maybe Daniel Williams is our executive sponsor. I can choose a business unit. So I can determine what type of project this might be. Is this an IT project, a marketing project? We'll go ahead and choose transformation. We'll give it a priority. I think this is a medium priority. What's the category? Is it involved with process improvement? Is it involved with business transformation or innovation? We'll go ahead and choose business transformation. We can then fill out a business case. Part of the idea here, literally, is to be able to effectively assess, are these new ideas going to help us to meet our business goals and objectives? So here we can put in a description. This would be a 3-week implementation of OnePlan to effectively address and plan for our FY25 project portfolio. And then you can even ask people for a value statement. This will enable and optimize better decision making. And any additional comments. This is all configurable, as I mentioned. We can then track high-level financials. Is there a high-level budget? Do we think that we're going to need a particular budget? Maybe I put in $35,000. Are there benefits that we understand? What's the funding source? Is it coming from a customer? Is it coming from a hardware budget or software budget? Those types of things. In this case, we'll put customer. Then we get into prioritization. Prioritization is something that all organizations would benefit from, the ability to realize that not every project or every idea can be priority one. So we do support different types of prioritization. The first here is something we call a standard prioritization. This is a prioritization weighted score that is calculated based on things that you can define. We give you some example elements here, such as strategic alignment. How well do we align with those various business goals or objectives? Is it going to improve employee retention? Maybe this is moderate. Is it going to lower cost? Maybe this one is low. Is it going to help us reduce risk? We'll say strong. And you'll see here that as those are selected, it generates a prioritization score. We also can support the concept of agile or lean prioritization. For those of you that may be familiar with methods such as weighted shortest job first, where you can enter in items such as risk, business value, time criticality, cost of delay. Finally, you can associate these plans to other plans. And so I can come in here and say, this is where this plan here is going to support our, let's see, which would be a good one here. Drive organizational change, align the organization around transformation, and hit select. In OnePlan, everything is a plan, whether it's a project, an objective, an idea, an epic, a strategy, whatever it may be. And we provide the ability for you to associate those plans to each other, which then provides some interesting visualizations that I'm going to show a little bit later. So we've gone ahead and completed that form, and we'll go ahead and save that. Now that is showing up here inside my view from the PMO of all of our different ideas. Sophia can also be asked for help with prioritization. We see a number of different ideas that are in here. We can come in and click on AI, Sophia, and say, what are the top 5 ideas in terms of prioritization score and benefits compared to budget? As you think about ideation, you have the potential for ideas to come in from anywhere in the organization. They could be dozens, hundreds, thousands of ideas. This is really where Sophia AI can come in and help you to better analyze and determine what are some of the best choices. So based on that data, it's suggesting user experience design, website redesign, voice assistant integration, Internet of Things, disaster recovery. Really providing you with some insight and actionable ways that you can go ahead and determine which of these plans you want to move from an idea to a project. So let's say we've gone through our process of evaluating projects. We see that this OnePlan fiscal year planning kickstart idea. Oh, by the way, people can vote on this. We're currently just showing the ability for an individual to come in and provide one vote, but you could have a 5-star scale where individuals could choose and vote up to 0 to 5 stars. And that would provide you with some insight in terms of, the crowd sourcing, if you will, of what are some of the best ideas. And when we find an idea that we want to continue further modeling with, I can simply click on the hamburger, which is the technical term, and I'm going to go to reorganize. Reorganize allows us to convert an idea into another plan type. And here you're starting to see some of those other plan types that are supported inside of OnePlan, such as portfolios, programs, epics, projects. We're going to convert this to a project. I can also choose a parent plan. Does this fall under a particular portfolio or a particular program? And let's go ahead and say that this falls under our business transformation, digital transformation program, and hit select. And then I'm going to go ahead and click reorganize. We'll click yes. And now what this is doing is it's going ahead and it's creating a project plan for us that we can then do further analysis, such as capacity planning and financial budgeting, which we're going to show you next. As you can see, OnePlan can provide a single front-end experience for anyone in your organization to submit ideas, requests, and proposals. All right, now that we've seen our objectives and metrics and collected project ideas and requests, step 3 is all about capacity planning and budgeting. We're going to go, there's a number of different ways that you can see plans that have been assigned that I own, including a great search box at the top. So I can click up on search and I can see my recent plans. I can see favorites that I have. And here it will give me direct access to those plans that I've accessed recently. Let's go ahead and go to our home page where I can see a number of plans as well. And I'm going to go ahead and search for that one plan. I'm going to go ahead and choose a different plan. We'll choose this user experience design. That's an idea. Well, let's go to a project here. Let's go to our work planner. Here we have details about this plan. And these came through that ideation process. So what you can see is everything that was entered during the intake process, the business case, the description, the value statement, the prioritization, the high-level financials, those all live and breathe with the project throughout its life cycle. Now we can create a top-down resource plan for our project. Here we're looking at the work planner plan in this case, and I have a number of resources. OnePlan allows you to look at named resources like Ryan and Angela, generic resources like trainer or project manager. We can even have team resources. So maybe you know that you want to assign a certain development team to a particular project or epic. Let's go ahead and put in, let's take a look at next year. So we're going to come here and we're going to take a look at next year. And I can see that Ryan is a business analyst. I'm going to need Ryan from, let's say, May until August of 2025. So I can come in here to the worksheet and directly enter time in hours, percent, or FTE, and the system will calculate those on the fly. Or I can do add a booking. Add a booking allows me to come in here very easily and start to name resources to include. Here's Ryan. And maybe I want to have him be assigned from April of 2025, to, let's say, the end of the year, December 2025. And I want to allocate him 50%. I can easily just enter 50%, choose add, and now it will go ahead and add him as a set of assignments. You see that he's very green, meaning that he's not otherwise allocated to more work than he can take on. There's a whole lot of resource management capabilities that we're not going to get into in today's session, but OnePlan is very powerful in its ability to do top-down resource planning like we're showing here. The ability to see if individuals are red or over-allocated. If I go back and just show, let's say this current year, for example, we're seeing a number of items here that are in red. Maybe those resources need to be replaced, and there's a replace function in here. Lots of great elements that we could cover in a future demo for you or your organization. Let's go ahead now and build a financial plan. So the financial plan allows you to have a number of different cost types. We're going to focus on budget, but we could also have a forecast, which is coming from our scheduled work. Actuals could be coming from timesheets, and we could track things such as benefits, which could be revenue or cost savings. And you're seeing here a number of cost categories. Labor, all of the labor is entered in by importing from that resource plan that we just built. You don't need to enter in resource costs directly here. It'll actually roll them up by role, and you could use blended rates or actual rates. Contracts, expenses, materials. Once you build that plan, and right now it's showing it by quarters. We could look at this by year. So maybe the next 5 years, we want to look at this on an annual basis and do some long-range financial planning. Maybe you have major transformation programs that go across multiple years. That can all be done here within the financial plan at the plan level. Okay, and this is meant to be done very, very quickly, very high level for potential new projects or projects that may be in flight. Finally, after we've set metrics and objectives, collected project ideas and requests, performed top-down capacity planning and budgeting, step 4 is all about portfolio modeling and optimization. Let's see that in action now. We're going to go to this area called the modeler. The portfolio modeler from OnePlan is the central spot where you can have different folders for different departments. So here you see a folder structure with different departments. Inside those folders, we can have various models. And we're going to go ahead and jump into this IT 2025 project planning model here in a moment, just to show you how it works. I'm going to go to the edit function. So there's a wizard process. So any user that has access to the modeler would come in here very quickly and just give it a name, maybe a description, determine what folder it belongs to. Then you can select what plans you want to look at. And remember, everything in OnePlan is a plan. So your ability to take a slice of just our 2025 initiatives or proposed initiatives or proposed and in flight. Here we're looking at projects and epics. Maybe we want to just look at the business unit and just show the IT plans. We can then choose what fields, and you can set constraint target fields. And you'll see that in a moment when we get to the modeling, where we can set a target budget or a target for committed effort if you're interested in hours. You can also set a target field for benefit. Maybe you're going to track what the benefits might be, and then how we're going to sort those. We focused earlier during the intake process on prioritization during ideation. Here, we'll be able to sort those and really see those in priority order. Finally, you determine the cost types that you want to show. We're going to talk about budget, benefits, and committed. So let's go ahead into our IT 2025 project planning model. What we see is a list of all of those plans. If I collapse this, you'll see we have 61 plans that are currently in this model. We have total benefits, total budget information, committed effort in the form of roll-ups. And if I expand this list, now we're seeing a list of all of those plans by priority. So you see here the prioritization score. These are ranked in descending order based upon the ideation process. So when we came in and we're looking at and evaluating those ideas, we're able to take a look and create a prioritization score. This now gives us a punch list or a hit list of all of those plans. Now, inevitably, there's going to be some plans that executives will require you to do, or maybe for compliance purposes, such as this. Let's find a good one. This concept development plan. It's only ranked 12th, but I can go ahead and drag that up to the top, and I can reorder the rest here and make that the #1 plan. Maybe we look at some of these other plans and maybe determine that they're not a good fit, and we want to exclude them from our model. All I have to do is simply click next to the name of that plan, and it'll move it out. You'll see here as we move some of these out and I collapse this, you're seeing above the line and below the line. These are all the plans that were moved out. And then ultimately you can move some of them back in if there are ones that have to be done for compliance reasons or pet projects, those types of things. We have a number of different fields available to us, start and end date information, state. We can look at, if we're doing annual planning, we can look at not just ideas, but also our proposed projects, which is what we did earlier. We took our OnePlan FY25 Kickstart plan and moved it from an idea to a project, but also look at projects that are in flight. Now, we can do some interesting analysis. The first thing that we can do is we can analyze against a target budget. So here you'll see those 59 plans above. If we did all of them, the total budget would be 275 million. And I can even see target effort or target benefits. I can set a target budget. So maybe our target budget for this year is just 100 million. And you can see certainly that we're over budget. Now, if I bring this down, give me a little bit more real estate. Now I can see some of these plans. Maybe I scroll down and find some of my plans that are lower priority but higher cost and start to deselect these. Maybe we move out this Jira cybersecurity enhancement. Maybe we move out this inventory management. And as we continue to go through, we'll see that in this case, we actually had one giant plan, this current architecture proposed plan, that is very much taking up a large amount of the budget. So we're going to move that one out. And as we do that, you'll see here that it will change our budget and our total budget, our target below, to green. These are called scenarios, and we can save these scenarios. So I have an $18 million scenario. Maybe I want to save this as a $100 million scenario. So I come up here and choose Save Scenario. I'll give it a name, $100 million scenario. And then we can do some interesting things. We can start to compare these side by side. So I can go to a dashboard and I can say, show me my $100 million scenario compared to my $18 million scenario, and hit compare. And here I can see that information, comparison between how many plans are in, total budget, committed effort. Maybe I want to see the details here between those plans. So let's look at the $100 million scenario versus the $18 million scenario and hit compare. I can see side by side in the $100 million scenario, these are the plans that were selected. Now we can start to do some additional constraint analysis. So let's hide that Analyze button. And let's go ahead and look at what is the financial impact. So you remember during step 3, we went and created a financial plan for all of our projects, that top-down budget. And here you see we have those different cost types, budget and benefits. Now I can split the screen and I can see what is that target? What is the budget here? I can even do this by month. Maybe, maybe I have a $90,000 budget for January, but maybe a $300,000 budget for February. And as you start to see, these plans roll up into that total, plan total, and target. And we're starting to see where we have some red, where we only have, let's say, $500,000 of budget in April. Now what we can do is look at the plans above, and then instead of just doing comparison versus a target, we can look at this on a timetable. And again, we're doing 2025 planning, so we can look at next year. Let's go ahead and take a look at next year and see what the impact is to our various plans that are here. And I can start to deselect some of my plans above. Maybe this app project plan we're not going to be able to do, or this Monday.com integration project that we're going to do. As we're doing this in real time, it's updating the impact to the budget below. And ideally that as you start to deselect some of these plans above and move them out inside this model, it'll render below and you'll start to see some of these plan totals move from red to yellow to green. Now, for many organizations, it's not a question of financial resources or just financial resources, but also a question of human resources. So let's click on our resource plan button. The resource plan button now is going to load all of those resource plans. So remember we did the resource planning at the plan level, the top down, that's showing up here. And again, I can look at this for next year if I want. Let's look at 2025. Here you'll see probably a lot of green because I don't have a lot of plans just yet in this model, but I see I have some red. Again, I can deselect some of these plans. And that'll render updates in real time below, and you'll start to see resources move from red to yellow to green. Again, I can collapse this, and I can see which of those plans were moved out, and then I can take some of these other plans and I can drag and move those in if they're plans that we have to do. Finally, maybe it's not a question of if we do a project, but when. So I can actually click on the Gantt chart. All of those plans will show up here on a time scale. I'm going to zoom out. where I can see these various plans by quarter. And I see this demo modifications and updates plan that we started in Q1 of this year. What if we take that and drag that into 2025? What is that going to do for me? And that'll go ahead and render changes below. Please keep in mind that this is all what-if scenario planning, and we're not changing the underlying plans. You can create reports so that you can easily see what has changed. But this is meant to do what-if scenario planning, and this can be done by many individuals. We have lots of great reports and visualizations. We've got bubble charts, so we could come in here and see, let's see that $18 million scenario. Executives love bubble charts. Let's see where all of these fall, in terms of total cost versus prioritization, and maybe show them by size in terms of budget. We have the ability to do pivot charts if you're interested in pivoting. People can pivot to their heart's content. You can export this information, and again, we're not changing anything. As you can see, OnePlan provides powerful portfolio optimization and modeling capabilities. AI is certainly a hot topic, and we've just scratched the surface with what you can do with OnePlan's AI assistant, Sophia GPT. With respect to strategic planning, Sophia can help to increase productivity by streamlining the OKR development process like we showed, improving alignment, being able to align organizational objectives with individual and team OKRs. I didn't show that, but you can have departmental and then organizational OKRs. Data-driven decision-making, using it to identify patterns, opportunities, potential risks, and then optimization. When it comes to optimization, Sophia GPT can get involved with data analysis. So being able to look at that data, whether it's goals or resources or budgets or risks, and tell you which ones are most at risk or best use of funding, being able to do prediction and forecasting, risk assessment, as we mentioned, and portfolio optimization. All right, let's review and discuss next steps. In summary, better alignment with strategy and execution is needed for successful outcomes in the year ahead. Increased complexity and the fast pace of change requires new methods, approaches, and tools. Strategic portfolio management can provide that framework for successful year-end planning. You can mitigate inherent risks by thoughtfully selecting the right mix of projects that have the best chance of success. We showed some of that. OnePlan provides end-to-end strategic portfolio management in the Microsoft Cloud. As we've shown, the use of AI can provide valuable assistance and insights to those efforts, with Sophia GPT providing AI-enabled capabilities throughout OnePlan. And maybe you've already built your plan for next year. Not a problem. You can use OnePlan's strategic portfolio management to monitor those plans, modify, and align projects with strategic goals throughout the entire year. This brings us to our special offer, and thank you to those who have reached this point in the session. We're offering a fiscal year 25 planning solution that can be executed and delivered in as little as 3 weeks. This package includes 10 OnePlan enterprise licenses for your PMO staff and maybe some of your executives, unlimited users for the OnePlan innovation portal that we showed. It includes up to 100 hours of OnePlan Advantage services, which can be used to configure and provide support after deployment of your planning solution. Of course, we include instructor-led training with 2 days, and then we also provide what's called Premier Success. Premier Success includes non-production licenses as well as access to our e-learning. To learn more, please visit oneplan.ai/yearend or follow up to the messaging that you received around this webinar. If you're not quite ready to take advantage of our 2025 Planning Kickstart offer, please be sure to check out other ongoing offers and resources, such as a free personalized one-on-one demo. We just scratched the surface during our time here today. We'd be happy to provide a custom demo for you and your team. We also offer free OnePlan trials. So if you're interested in kicking the tires or playing around with some of these capabilities, I'll provide that information in a moment. You can reach out to us via email, contact@oneplan.ai. All of our great information is available on our website at oneplan.ai. Simply visit oneplan.ai/solutions and choose from the solution template that best meets your interests and needs. Strategic portfolio management would allow you to test drive all the capabilities that we covered today. I'd like to thank you for your time and attention today. I hope this session has provided you with some food for thought as you consider opportunities to improve your annual planning. Best wishes from all of us at OnePlan for a strong close to 2024 and successful planning ahead for 2025. Thank you.